Welcome back to Man on a Mission. Thanks for joining me. I'm Pat Martins with Faith Lutheran Church in Jefferson City, Missouri. A few weeks ago, I introduced you to the book The Hole in Our Gospel by Richard Stearns. If you haven't already, I'd invite you to pick up or get a hold of a copy. It's a great read. Today, I wanted to delve into a section of Scripture the book referenced, maybe not as well known as some parts of the Bible. This comes from Luke 16, 19 through 31. I'm not going to read the section, but rather summarize, especially the early parts of the reading as Stearns approaches it. I'd invite you, though, to read it over thoroughly several times yourself. I think it speaks great volumes to you and your charge in this Christian life. The summary is this, that there is a rich man and a beggar named Lazarus. Interesting that the rich man is not named, but the beggar is given a name. This Lazarus was someone outside the rich man's gate with sores, and he was hungry. So the picture here is the rich man lives a life of luxury. He has plenty. He is aware of this Lazarus character because he is just outside the gate of his mansion daily, where the rich man could not help but see him. Lazarus is just seeking any crumbs he can get. Now, we really don't get a good picture as to what happens between them. The perception, I think, is that the rich man pretty much ignores Lazarus. It does not seem as though Lazarus is being mistreated or abused, as best we can tell by the rich man. Bottom line, we just know, we don't know what went on there. There was obviously a disparity in the wealth and life of the two, and an appearance that the rich man seemed to ignore the beggar. So later we find the two have died, and the picture is that the rich man and Lazarus are in a place of separation now. The fate of each man has now flipped. Now, ironically, the rich man is looking for comfort from Lazarus, but he cannot give it. There's a chasm between the two. So here's the point from the book's perspective. The rich man's sin was not one of commission, but rather one of omission. The rich man knew the good he ought to do, but he failed to do it. How often do we act that way? What I'm always reminded of as an example when I read this is that person standing at the stoplight looking for a crumb as the cars pass by. You know the ones I'm talking about. We try to act as though we don't see them and won't dare to look them in the eye. Almost every car is doing what? Ignoring them. Just like the rich man. How many times have we done that? It almost gets to the point where we are desensitized to it, even. I'm guilty, too. George Bernard Shaw wrote this: "The worst sin towards our fellow creatures is not to hate them, but to be indifferent to them." That's the essence of inhumanity. Last week I mentioned about all the death on a daily basis due to starvation, disease, and so much that is not necessary. But it goes on due to our indifference. Those of you at Faith Church, you have a great opportunity to step out and not ignore our brothers and sisters in Nicaragua this coming summer, to throw them a crumb by going to them, being with them, helping them in their discomfort and need, to give them hope, kind of like Lazarus needed. Sign up to join us and see how God works in your life through this experience. And don't forget to read Luke 16, 19 to 31, and listen to how it is talking to you. Next week, I'm going to touch a little more on the rich man. His face may just be looking back from the mirror at you. So until next time, be a man or woman on a mission.